Hello everyone and welcome to Barca News. It's December 13th, 2022 and Barcelona have a new sponsor. Also, there was an important meeting today with certain members of the board of directors to try to plan the club's moves in the winter transfer market. And it's reported that Pablo Torre could be leaving the club on loan during the winter transfer market. We have a lot to discuss, so let's begin. Hello everyone and welcome to the channel. My name is Mo and this is my second attempt to make today's video as I filmed the first video completely in slow motion. So here we go, hopefully this time we'll go without any hiccups. Now the first 22 Qatar World Cup semi-final just ended and Argentina are officially through the final after defeating Croatia 3-0 in an absolute masterclass performance by Lionel Messi, who scored a goal from the penalty spot and who provided an assist with a brilliant run that ended in Julian Alvarez's second goal of the match. Now Messi will now have his second chance at winning the World Cup after losing the final in the 2014 World Cup. And Argentina are now awaiting their opponent as the second semi-final is scheduled for tomorrow, Wednesday, December the 14th, where France is going to face off against Morocco. Now, before we continue with the news, if you haven't hit the subscribe button, please consider doing so. It's free, it only takes a second, and in doing so, you will be helping the small and humble channel continue to grow so I can continue bringing you the most up-to-date news in regards to our beloved club, FC Barcelona. Also, if you want to represent your team during this World Cup, make sure you hit the kit bag where they have the biggest selection of World Cup jerseys. So make sure you hit the link down below in the description so you can represent your team in this exciting 2022 Qatar World Cup. Now on to the news that Barcelona have new sponsor, and that sponsor is the cryptocurrency exchange platform Whitebit. Now, as I reported several months ago, Whitebit had offered to become a Barcelona sponsor. However, the board of directors were not too sure whether to have a sponsor that's involved in cryptocurrency. And after much consideration and debate, Barcelona have approved the sponsorship and Whitebit and Barcelona are now official partners. Now, this partnership will last for 3 years until 2025, and the Whitebit logo will appear on the sleeve of the Barcelona jersey. Now, Whitebit is the largest cryptocurrency exchange platform in Europe. It was founded in 2018 in Ukraine, and they have more than 3.5 million users. And this is, of course, great news for Barcelona because more sponsors means more income and more revenue. And this will not only help with the salary limit, which is based on how much the club earns, but it will also help make up for all the losses that the club have suffered from the elimination from the Champions League. And it will also help make up for the losses that the club will incur next year, given that they sold 25% of their Barca media rights during the summer when they activated some of the economic levers. Now, this sponsorship will also help the club continue to recover from the financial hole that the previous president, Josep Maria Bartomeu, placed us in. Now, on to the news that Barcelona had an important meeting today with several members of the board of directors in order to plan the club's moves in the winter transfer market. Now, this was the first of many meetings to come during this month where the club are going to plan, debate, and decide on all their moves in the winter transfer market, and where the club are going to decide which players to offload and which players will take their place in the form of new signings. Now, one of the players that was discussed during this meeting was, of course, Héctor Bellerín, who Xavi does not count on and who the club are hoping to offload during the winter transfer market in order to clear space for the incoming new signings. Well, it seems that Héctor Bellerín could be staying until the end of the season because even though there was some interest from Jose Mourinho's AS Roma, it's reported that that interest has cooled off, and the player also wants to stay until the end of the season, which is when his contract expires with the club. Now, another player that Barcelona have discussed during this meeting was Franck Kessie, who hasn't been getting much playing time, and as such, there are several clubs interested in signing the Ivorian midfielder. However, as reported previously, Xavi did meet with the player and his agent, and after that meeting, he instructed the club not to offload Franck Kessie in the winter because he wants to keep him until the end of the season to give him more time to see if he can adapt and become successful at the club. Now, another player that was discussed during this meeting was Memphis Depay, who the club are trying to offload to clear space on their wage bill. And the player also wants to leave because he wants a primary role on the squad. However, he's not going to get that with the presence of Robert Lewandowski on the team. Now, Memphis Depay wants to leave for free. However, the club are not willing to allow him to leave as a free agent, and they want to cash in on his value. So the club have some decisions to make on whether to allow Memphis Depay to leave for free, clearing space on the wage bill, or whether to try to convince the player to be sold, or whether to keep Memphis Depay until the end of the season, which is when his contract expires with the club. Now, another player that Barcelona discussed during this meeting is Pablo Torre. And as I talked about many times before, Pablo Torre is considered one of the most promising young talents in all of Spanish football. And as such, Barcelona signed him from the second division team, Racing de Santander, with the idea that he would play with the Barca Athletic, but he would exclusively train with the first team and play some matches with the first team as well. Now, Pablo Torre has refused to play with Barca Athletic on several occasions, and as such, the club have met in order to discuss the future of the player, because Pablo Torre is in a critical stage of his career where he needs to gain as much playing time as possible so he can continue his growth and development. Well, it's now being reported that Barcelona are considering sending Pablo Torre on loan so he can get a taste of the first division action. And it's reported that Quique Setien's Villarreal are interested in taking Pablo Torre in the winter until the end of the season. Now, on to the news that the news media outlet Relevo are reporting that the contract extension of Inyaki Pena is completely done. Now, as I reported previously, Inyaki Pena's contract with Barcelona will expire in the summer of 2023. And as such, Barcelona want to extend his contract because they consider him the goalkeeper of the future. Well, Relevo are now reporting that Barcelona have finalized the negotiations with a 23-year-old goalkeeper, and it seems that the club want to extend his contract until the summer of 2026. And it seems that Inyaki Pena has decided to stay in Barcelona, even though there were several clubs interested in him, including the Turkish club Galatasaray, where he spent some time there on loan, and several teams in the Premier League as well. Now, as I reported in yesterday's video, Barcelona are currently tracking the Moroccan midfielder Izzeddine Ounahi. Now, Ounahi is a 22-year-old midfielder who currently plays for the Ligue 1 club Angers. And given his brilliant performance at the World Cup so far, several clubs are now interested in signing him. So much so that Angers' president made a statement saying that the club are ready to lose the Moroccan player. Well, it seems that Ounahi's agent has begun to evaluate all the offers from the different European clubs, and it seems that Barcelona are still circulating the player and his camp because they're interested in signing him. But of course, all of this is going to depend on how much money Angers asks for Ounahi, because given the difficult financial situation of the club, they are restricted on how much money they can spend on players. Now, my only question is whether Ounahi will fit in the Barcelona style of play, because so far he's been succeeding in a different style that uses that parks the bus and uses a low block defense and depends on counter attacks. So it's gonna be interesting to see whether Ounahi is going to fit the Barcelona style of play, because he's gonna be asked to do the exact opposite what he's currently doing in the Moroccan national team. So make sure to drop a comment down below giving me your thoughts and opinions on whether Izzeddine Ounahi would be a good fit for Barcelona. Now, on to the news that Erik ten Hag has closed the door on Barcelona's interest in Diogo Dalot. Now, as I reported in yesterday's video, Barcelona are looking to reinforce the right back position, and given the difficult financial situation of the club, they were considering Diogo Dalot as a free option to reinforce the right back position, given that Diogo Dalot's contract with Manchester United will expire in the summer of 2023. Now, Diogo Dalot had yet to announce whether he wanted to renew his contract with the Premier League club, but today Erik ten Hag revealed that in Diogo Dalot's contract, there's an option for Manchester United to extend the contract of the player by one more season unilaterally. And Erik ten Hag confirmed that that's exactly what Manchester United are going to do. So it seems that Diogo Dalot is going to be at the Premier League club until the summer of 2024. Now, we will end today's video with the news that Morocco are currently tracking the Barcelona youth Lamine Yamal. Now, as I reported in a previous video, Lamine Yamal is a 15-year-old winger who currently plays for the Barcelona under-19 youth team. And many footballing scouts consider Yamal as one of the brightest prospects in La Masia. Now, Lamine Yamal's father is from Morocco, his mother is from Equatorial Guinea, and he was born in Spain, and as such, he can play for any of those three nations. And Morocco scouts are currently tracking Lamine Yamal, hoping that he could play for the Moroccan team. Now, one of the Moroccan scouts who was sent to Europe to look for young talent for the Moroccan national team said some wonderful things about Lamine Yamal when he said his technique, his vision of the game, and his eye for goal. He is one of the best wingers I have ever seen in the youth categories. Barcelona have a real diamond in their academy. He is a player that I love and I will always be a fan wherever he plays because I like players of this type. Differential players. Now, this scout confirms something that I talked about in a previous video, which is that Barcelona need to do everything in their power to extend the contract of Lamine Yamal, which expires in the summer of 2024, because such talent from La Masia need to make it to the first team rather than spend ridiculous amounts of money on bringing stars from other teams, given that we have one of the best academies in the world that constantly produces some of the best players in the entire footballing world. So that is it for today. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please give me a like. Also, I'd like to invite all of you to please leave a comment down below, giving me all your thoughts and opinions about all the news that I share with you. And finally, I would like to invite all of you to please subscribe to the channel so you can stay current on all the latest news in regards to our beloved club, FC Barcelona. Thank you for watching. I will see you in the next video. And as always, peace, Barça.